wonderful day so far. If you notice, I am not in my normal filming spot. I am at my parents' house visiting my mom. It is her birthday this week, so I've been spending some time with the family, wishing her a wonderful happy birthday. I was going to film in the kitchen, however, Nico, who is this little white fluff ball next to me, he might get up in a little bit. He is under the weather, I am under the weather, and he's just been snuggling up to me ever since. So, but with all that, today I wanted to talk to you about how I color my hair, and that is because I use henna to color my hair. Now, I have been coloring my hair for probably about 8 years now. Like, I personally have been coloring my own hair. I'm not a hairstylist or a hair colorist. I'm not a hair care professional by any means, but I was trained by one on how to properly mix my color, how to apply my color, and how to get the best results with my hair. But maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago, I don't quite remember when this was. I think it was 2 years ago, I had a hair coloring catastrophe where pretty much the color did not sit right on my hair. The brown component of the color washed out, but the red stayed. And it ended up being like a fire engine red hair. Worth noting, I had been using this particular brand and this color for probably 3 years at that point, and I had never had that happen, but I am a grudge holder. Well, I'm not as big of a grudge holder as my mom is. Just after that, I decided I wasn't going to be using that type of color anymore, and I decided it was a sign, it was time for me to switch to something else, and I had been wanting to try henna for a while. So I just said, you know what, when this color fades, I'm going to start using henna. And I have absolutely loved using henna. But henna has a lot of pros and it comes with a lot of cons, and that's okay. I think every hair style, every hair color, it's gonna have pros and cons to it. So I wanted to go over the good and the bad, the pros and the cons, and also the pretty, which are what I call my tips, tricks, and hacks for if you are looking into starting to color your hair with henna. Now we're gonna start with the pros. This is Light Mountain Natural henna. It comes with, I think, it came with 4 packets of the actual henna. It just comes in a pack like this. I've already used one, but one of the great pros about henna is that it is a natural hair dyeing system. There's no chemicals in it. Like, if you are purchasing henna properly, which there should only be one ingredient, and that is the actual henna plant, which is Lasiona erymentis. I am totally butchering that. But yeah, there is a plant that is the henna plant, and that is what's going to give you that nice, rich red color. I personally only use pure henna. You can mix it with indigo and other plants to give it a different hue to it, like more brown hue or more black hue or more golden hue. But I just use straight pure henna. I know the Light Mountain Natural brand does make colors in different shades, so they do mix the indigo and the other herbs with it. I have not used those other colors. I have only used the fox one, which is that true red color, because that's what I like. I have seen other recipes where you mix the colors yourself. I know Whole Foods sells just pure henna powder that you can buy the henna, you can buy the indigo, you can buy whatever else you use to color your hair, but you can mix it yourself. But definitely one of the pros is that it's all natural. With that, even though you are putting what is essentially mud on your hair, when you wash it out, you don't actually use shampoo, but it naturally conditions your hair. Again, it's very odd because you are essentially, you're mixing leaves with water and you're creating a clay-like consistency mud, and you're sticking that on your hair, you're just globbing it in there, but when you rinse it out, your hair is so smooth, it's silky. I've never had such a deep conditioner before I was using henna. Like, I absolutely love the feeling that you get after your hair, after you rinse your hair out. Like, the feeling is just so like, oh, I love my hair. But it does naturally condition your hair. Another huge good thing about henna is it lasts so long. I can go probably 3 months and the color will still stay the same. It doesn't bleed out nearly as bad as boxed color or even professional color. I personally had always used a professional grade color, but I know a lot of people at home tend to just use the box dyes. But even with my professional color, it would last maybe a month, and I would have to go in for a touch-up probably every month and a half or so, just to at least get my roots done. But with the henna, holy crap, it lasts so long. Like, the color just absorbs and soaks into your hair, and it stays that way for a very long time. Now, you do have to touch up your roots, but I'm going to get to that in a second. Moving over to the cons, henna does not smell the best. It smells almost like a farm. It just has a very, like, it smells like dirt. It just does. The smell does wash out. Once you've rinsed it out, then once you've shampooed and conditioned it, it doesn't last in your hair. But when you're coloring your hair, it is not the most pleasant smell, which moves along to the other con, is that it's very time consuming. So it's not like traditional color where you leave it in for 15 to 30 minutes and you only have to smell the chemicals for that long. Henna, you have to leave in your hair for anywhere from 1 hour to 4 hours. Oh, I don't have the instructions in here. I know that for my hair, I like it when it's at 2 hours, but I'll talk a little bit more about that when I get to our pretty hacks section. But it is very time consuming because depending on the brand of henna that you're using, sometimes you have to let henna cure. Now, there is a way to bypass that curing stage, but if you are just doing it in a regular mixing plain water with the powder, you do have to let it cure for a few hours and then put it on your hair and really let it saturate for that 1 to 4 hours or however much you want your hair to be colored. Another con with henna is it's very messy. It's like you need to put newspaper and towels everywhere because henna stains very easily. I mean, it'll stain your wood, your countertops, like it'll stain everything. So lay down newspapers all over the floors, all over on your countertops, and wear a shirt that you don't care about. I personally have a shirt that I wear whenever I've colored my hair, so I don't really care if something gets on it. But it is something to be mindful of. It's very messy. You're picking up globs of mud and you are, I don't know why I keep calling it mud, but you're picking up globs of this dye and you're massaging it into your scalp. And it's very, it can be very chunky. It can be. When the first time I ever did it, I remember I would just like hear like pieces of it just kind of falling out. But that was also my first time and I did not know what I was doing at all. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. But we're gonna move right along to the pretty time, which is what I call my tips, tricks, and hacks. Now, I did not do my research prior to using henna. I just knew that it was gonna be an alternative and I tried it. And yes, I loved it, but I think I would have loved it more if I did my research. So my hack number 1 for you is to, when you're brushing your hair, your brush is going to collect strands of hair. I recommend take 3, I guess, piles of hair from your hairbrush. Just get three individual sections of that. And then before coloring your hair, take those 3 and you're gonna do a strand test. But because henna can, it can go anywhere from, you can leave on your hair for as long as really you want, But the reason why I'm saying do 3 is I like to do 3 different times. So I will do 1 strand test for an hour, 1 for maybe an hour and a half, 1 for maybe 3 hours. And then I'll just cover that, and then I'll set 3 different timers, rinse one out, see what that strand looks like. Wash the second one out when it's time, see what that one looks like. Then wash the third one out and see what that one's like. And that way I can pick which one I want for my hair, because the longer you let henna sit on your hair, the different the color is going to be. So if it is your first time, I recommend doing that. For my hair, I leave it on for 2 hours. I found that that was a good time to leave it in for to get the color that I wanted to achieve. But if it is your first time, I recommend just take that opportunity and just do that. See which shade you're gonna like, and then when it's time for you to color your hair the next time, you only have to do 1 strand test, and that's just for the time that you want your hair to sit for. So even if you colored your hair before, always do a strand test. I'm only saying do the 3 strand test the first time, or every time you change brands. That way you know exactly what you're getting yourself into, and you kind of get an idea of what your hair is going to look like and what your hair can look like. My next tip is for a root touch-up. Now, one reason I love the Light Mountain Natural brand is that it comes with 4 packets of henna. So what I do is I designate 1 packet, it's not this one, I have the actual one at home, but I designate 1 packet for my root touch-up packet, and I mix it with the liquid media that I've been using with my henna prior to. I'll just take about maybe 2 spoonfuls of it and just mix some of the liquid with it, and I use it as a root touch-up. That way I have a very small amount, and I can just apply it to my roots, apply it to my scalp, and then just kind of work it through the rest of my hair, but just close to my scalp. So that way I don't have to go through the whole long time-consuming process of coloring my entire head of hair. Another very good hack is henna, like I said, stains everything. So put moisturizer around your scalp, put it on your ears, put it on your neck, and that way the henna won't stick to it. So if you put it on prior to and then put the henna on, it's going to save your skin from having a nice orange line right there. My last tip or hack is in regards to that curing process that henna has to do. When I first started using henna, I really only knew one thing, and that was to get pure henna, and that is the Lawsonia anarimus plant. Totally butchering that, but if you are coloring your hair with pure natural henna, that is going to be the only ingredient, and that is the scientific name for henna. Now, I did not know this when I first started, and that was if you boil the water, you don't have to let the henna cure for the 3 to 4 hours. Now, Light Mountain Natural does tell you in their instructions to boil the water to mix it, and that it does not have to cure. I did do my own research, and I did have a friend of mine who has been coloring her hair with henna since she was a young girl tell me that that is 100% true, but it has to be the 100% pure henna. She didn't mention anything about the indigo or if you're blending it, but please, please, please always read the instructions. I don't know if it works the same in terms of boiling water for if you are mixing other herbs into the henna, if it works the same. I truly don't know, but always read the instructions. But I can say after that first time, I have always boiled the water and mixed it with my henna, and I've never had to let it cure. It works immediately right when you mix it. The other thing is I don't use water. I brew chamomile tea, and I mix that in with my henna. The reason why I do that is because it gives it a more golden hue to it. Because of the pH level in the tea, since it's a lower pH, it gives it a more golden hue. I I'm not a huge fan of the burgundy hue. I wanted a more golden hue to it, which is why I blended the chamomile tea with the henna. There are recipes that you can find online about different things you can kind of use to alter the henna ever so slightly. The one thing I don't recommend doing is adding lemon juice to the henna, because lemon juice can actually damage your hair. I did use lemon juice one time, and it didn't really affect my hair all that much, but when I used it without the lemon juice the next time, I noticed the difference. And I'm telling you, use lemon juice at your own discretion. Personally, I will not be using lemon juice anymore. Lemon juice can give it a more golden hue to it, or a more golden tone, which is fine, but it can also be damaging to your hair. Now, not saying don't do it, just saying from my research, it's not the best idea to add lemon juice to your henna. So those are my good, the bad, and the pretty. Let me know what else you want to know about coloring your hair with henna, and I will do my best to answer all those questions that you might have. Like I said, yes, it's time consuming, yes, it's smelly, but I absolutely love using henna. And one other thing, I totally forgot to mention this, henna does take a couple days to develop in your hair. If you've ever gotten a henna tattoo like on your skin, you might notice that the first time you wash it off, it's kind of faded, but the next day when you wake up, it might be a little more vibrant. It's the same with your hair. It does take a couple days to fully develop and fully shine in terms of color. Personally, I color my hair on my Friday night, and then have the weekend for it to kind of fully develop. And then when I go back to work, it's the beautiful color that I want it to be. All right, those are all of my tips for henna. I absolutely love using henna. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, hopes, dreams, fears with henna, by all means, comment them down below. I will do my best to answer all of them. And I will see you very, very soon. Bye, everyone.